back. This is Streams, greatest monologue on earth. I am your host, Red Quran. It is currently 3:14 a.m., August 19th, Saturday. Got the cut going and everything for myself, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, feeling good. I had a pretty good day. Smoking on this itty bitty cigar that I bought today. This is all right. This shit was kind of not what I was expecting. But then I went and copped two more joints that I'm excited to try. One of them is a little cheap cigar, I think. I think it's a vanilla flavored joint. And then this other one, I don't even remember what the flavor of it is, but I'm kind of excited to try those because they smell super good in the store. But that don't always mean the cigars will be good. But that's my thing. I don't smoke weed. I don't drink. I like cigars every now and then. I hadn't had a cigar in like 8 months or something like that. I went and copped me 3 of them earlier. But anyway, man. So I'm sitting here. I just finished working out a minute ago, trying to change my life. You know what I'm saying? Fat niggas get tired of being fat. Don't ever let a nigga tell you nothing different. You feel me? But it's time to record another episode. And I guess I lied to y'all because now I do have a desire to talk about this Keke Palmer thing. And I think the reason now is because it kind of resurfaced because of the baby daddy going through it with Keke Palmer some more about, I think it was reported today that he's interested in child support from her and full custody of their daughter, or their son or whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. But, like, truth be told, I don't really care. I don't care about celebrity drama and news. I don't really get involved in gossip and stuff like that. I don't read Shade Room. I unfollowed Shade Room years ago. I don't really like none of that stuff. It literally doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel sick reading the type of media that we take in is a part of our diets, just like the food that we eat. You wake up and eat bananas, apples, oranges, and vegetables all day long, you're probably going to feel different than if you was to wake up and eat candy and a bunch of greasy shit every day. That's the same way I feel about media. When I wake up, I like reading. I follow a bunch of music-related stuff on my Instagram. I follow engineers, mixers, mastering engineers. I follow studio pages where they just show studio builds. I follow stuff where they'll show samples of old songs, like samples that they use in old rap songs. I follow pages where they'll just show footage of engineers and producers and rappers in the studio. I like stuff like that, right? It inspires me. Puts me in a mind state to do more of what I do already, right? Makes sense. I do a lot of, I follow a lot of pages like, I follow some psychology pages. Sometimes it makes me uncomfortable. Sometimes it's a nasty truth that I might have to face looking at some of those posts. But nonetheless, it is still bettering me. It is betterment for my betterment. Looking at something that is like digging into my psyche and explaining why I have these insecurities or these shortcomings as a man, as a person, right? I follow stuff like that. That's like a part of my accountability regimen. I follow a bunch of beautiful women because that inspires me as a man too. Being a visual creature, I think that is, when I'm single, when in a relationship, I try to tone down on that because temptation is hard enough as it is. I don't want to create more for myself. When I'm single, I think that is inspiring. You know why? Looking at beautiful women makes me want to lose weight, get some money. It makes me want to do a few things that will better myself to put me in position to get the type of woman that I want, or, to be in those circles or whatever, whatever way it works itself out. Y'all know what I'm saying. Going around about just to say that I took a lot of the gossip stuff out of my circle. I like to have some sort of know about the things that's going on, whether celebrity passes or there's some sort of goings on in the hip hop world because I'm interested in that. That's something that I like, right? But as far as really like investing my time in blurting out opinions all day long about gossip and celebrity opinions and all that type of stuff, I stopped doing that years ago. I used to do it a lot on Facebook, and I used to take this soapbox approach where I would just preach and rant and preach about what somebody did and use it as an opportunity to scream from the top of the mountains about my position and my opinion about it. And it didn't make me feel good. A lot of times it would get me into arguments with people that I loved and cared about, and it would make me feel weird about those people. I guess what I'm describing is that through trial and error, through time, I found out that voicing my opinion about everything is not necessary, and it's not even a good idea, right? But I will say, spending the last month on the internet, month and a half on the internet, reading and watching all of this stuff going on around Keke Palmer, Usher, and the father of her child has, well, it's done a few things. One thing, though, that it's done for sure is just showed me, it just reassured me just how many stupid, lost, confused motherfuckers are walking around outside unsupervised. All of these people have access to social media, phones, internet. They can voice their opinions whenever they want to, night and day, 24/7, 7 days a week. And a lot of people are speaking from childish positions. They're speaking from uninformed positions, and they're speaking from positions of having absolutely no accountability and no ability to self-reflect. So I'm so moved by the dumb things that I saw today on my Facebook timeline and Instagram timeline that I was compelled and moved to do this episode. Don't know how long it's going to be because I don't have a whole lot of things to say about this, but if there's one thing I can do is talk when I get into the mood to do so. So let me just start by stating my opinion on all three of the major players in this story. You have Usher. I think Usher is wrong for a set of reasons, but I think Usher is mostly innocent in that he was doing his job, performing, engaging with his audience, and making a spectacle, which is what he's supposed to do, especially in Vegas for a residency where he has to do the same show every night, every week, whatever it is, and make it interesting and make it engaging for everyone there, right? I can only imagine. I've never been a performer. I've only been on stage one time. I don't know what it's like trying to make a show that you're doing 100 times interesting and engaging every week. But he's doing that, right? It's a part of his show to engage with his audience. Ryan Davis, the comedian, the Instagram personality, you might know him from Instagram, but he's a stand-up comedian. He did a wonderful breakdown of how he carried himself, Usher I'm talking about, how he carried himself in that engagement with Keke Palmer. He's in a relationship. Keke Palmer was in a relationship at the time. Usher approached, kept his distance. He allowed Keke Palmer to do all of the reaching and all of the approaching. She leaned into him and he took her. When he took her in, up against him, he kind of turned his body away from her so that his crotch wasn't up against hers. And he also did not have his hand even on her. He had a towel in his hand. He only held her and he danced with her. And it seemed kind of innocent. It was like everybody's watching. I got a woman. I know I'm being recorded. She has a man. He probably don't care about that. And I don't agree with that either. But to me, Usher is mostly innocent, bro. I don't think he did too much wrong. I don't think he should have engaged a woman who was in a relationship that way. Some niggas is savages and they don't care. I've done it. I do it. It just depends, right? So I can't even fault him for that. But the other two major players is Keke Palmer, obviously, and her boyfriend, which I think his name is Darius. I don't even know who he is or what he is. I don't know. My opinion of both of them, before we go any further, just to make it so painfully clear, they're both cornballs to me, right? They're both cornballs. Keke Palmer's been a cornball for a long time. It's cool. She's like the female Nick Cannon. I have a lot of respect for Nick Cannon. And I think I said that in another episode before. I have a lot of respect for him. Up until recently, I had a lot of respect for Keke Palmer too. But I think this has done a lot to shed light on how stupid she is. It's cool though. I also want to preface this by saying that I understand that these are two grown individuals that I don't know. This has nothing to do with me, and the way that they choose to conduct themselves is up to them. They're grown. I feel the same way about everybody who live outside of here. Feel the same way about my sister. You know, my sister's done plenty of things I don't agree with. It's cool. I'm still gonna love her, right? She still gets to do whatever she wants. It doesn't matter. I'm her brother. All I can do is give my insight. If she takes heed, that's up to her, right? But since we're all talking about it, I want to make it clear again that they're both cornballs, the man and the woman. Today I saw a lot of women saying, when it was announced, saying that Darius wants full custody, he wants her house, and he wants like child support from Keke Palmer. I believe she makes more money than him. Cool. One thing that was interesting to me about that particular part, the child support thing, was that there was a whole lot of women on my timeline talking about how that's ridiculous. Oh, he's weak. He asking her for money because he broke. Or get your money up, nigga. You was a broke boy and he ain't gonna never get that money. Why should he get money? Why don't you just share custody or whatever it is? Okay, cool. I can understand some of that, right? I would never go after my kid's mom for child support, even though I have the kids way more than she does, right? Still wouldn't go after her for child support for a few reasons. I wouldn't want to do that to her. I wouldn't want, as a man, I wouldn't want the aesthetic. I wouldn't want the stigma on me of going through the court to get money out of a woman. I understand why it would make somebody look weak. But the caveat is, all of these women, or I won't say all, a lot of these women that are talking all this shit conveniently changes their stances on equality when it doesn't fit their narrative of what makes them comfortable. If we argue about equality all day long, if women want to be exactly like men for some fucking reason, they say, we should do this equal. We should get paid equal. We should have the same opportunities in college and all, whatever, scholarships and jobs and whatever, programs and housing and all of that, right? Okay, cool. Not disagreeing with any of that. But it's funny how the conversation changes when the shoe is on the other foot. And a man, like when Mary J. Blige, I think it was, Mary J. Blige going through it with her ex-husband, and he ended up being awarded child support or spousal support through the divorce, right? And a bunch of women jumped up and said, oh, that's weak as hell. You ain't no real man. You're not a real man asking for spousal support from your wife. That's weak. Okay, but my question to anyone who takes that stance, why is it okay for a woman to do that to a man? If you want equality, why shouldn't a man be able to do the same thing? It's because you don't want equality. You want the benefit. You want the advantage, right? Say what you will. I don't believe in equality. You know why? Because blue and the number one are not equal. They're two different things. You know, a sandwich and a refrigerator are not equal. I don't want them to be treated the same. You know, a sandwich goes in the refrigerator. A refrigerator can't go in the sandwich. That's not equality. A man and a woman should never be equal. I'm not saying a man and a woman should not be treated fairly. Being treated fairly and being treated properly is not the same as saying I want equality. Why the fuck would I want equality for a dog and a sea lion? Does that mean that all dogs should be cast to the ocean? They're both animals, right? It's not equality, it's proper treatment. That's what you're asking for. So stop using the word equality because you don't stand for that. I don't stand for that shit either. Because I don't want my daughter to be treated like my son. Because my son is equipped with a bunch of shit that my daughter will never be equipped with. And that goes to physiology, psychology, and even reproductive wise. My daughter will never be able to do what my son can do. even if they weighed the same amount, this is what I tried to explain to somebody else that I got into this discussion with. There could be a woman that is 6 foot tall. There could be a man standing next to her who is also 6 foot tall. Guess who is still more likely to be more equipped, strength-wise, and physical-wise? Who's going to be more equipped? Same height, same weight. Let's say they both 240. Let's say they both 220. They're both equipped, right? I don't know what's going on with this weak-ass light. They're both equipped, right? They're both equipped with the same weight, the same height. Let's just say their body build is different. The same. Let's just say it's the same. Physiology, biology determines that boy will probably still be way stronger than that woman. You know why? Because his bone density is way more. You know what makes a punch stronger than someone else's punch? The weight behind it. The density of the bones that is in the arm and the hand that is behind the punch. The muscle that is wrapped around these bones. It's nothing but physics, right? So if a man is biologically more prone, he's genetically predisposed to have more muscle mass, more bone density, and everything else that goes with strength, she, regardless of her being the same height and weight, even if they had the same workout regimen, the man would probably be stronger. Now, the defense that a lot of women use in that type of argument is that there are women who could beat men up. There's women who could jump higher. There's women that could punch harder. There's women, you can't fight Clarissa Shields. She'll beat your ass, or whatever whatever the argument might be. Sure, absolutely. Serena Williams can run farther than me, jump higher than me. She could play tennis better than I can. But guess what? When you compare women's tennis to men's tennis, the average is different. The exception does not negate the rule. You saying that Serena Williams is more physically capable than me is not saying much, because I don't do shit but sit at this computer and mix these people's songs. I have no physical activity at all other than playing with my children, doing some shit outside, working on my car or something like that, versus a person who has been working out, running, playing tennis, lifting weights, doing training for 30 years. 30 years. Those are isolated comparisons that mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. I don't think women and men are equal, bro. They don't have to be. Why would they have to be? Excuse me while I try to fix this light. Yeah, I think I'll just do that from now on. That works much better. I don't know why I haven't been doing that in the first place. But anyway, we preach equality, but equality is not what we want. Equality is not what you want. There are different things that men and women both require. I don't think women want to be treated like men, because the way that we are dealt with in this world is totally different than the way that you're dealt with. But guess what? You wouldn't know that because you have never, ever, ever walked in these shoes. Like I said a couple episodes ago, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm not saying our struggle invalidates your struggle. I'm not saying you don't go through your own set of things that we wouldn't understand. But guess what? I'm not the one screaming about equality. I don't want to be treated like a woman. I'm not interested in that. See, you think that men are not asking for equality because we have it all, okay? So if we have it all, I ask you again, why are we blowing our brains out way more than you have? Why? If this were the 1940s and this was World War II and there was a war going on and there was a draft, the men were the one being 21, 20 years old, 19, being sent over to Germany to get their fucking legs blown off while the women got to stay home. You know, not to say that the women didn't have their own struggles during World War II or any other time in America, but I am saying you did not have to worry about going to certain death. During the Civil War in the 1800s, there were not women being drafted to that war in masses to go die for sure. You didn't have bayonets being shoved through your fucking chest cavity. It just wasn't so. Now, again, if you can think critically and not with your fucking emotions, you would understand that I'm not saying a man going to war invalidates whatever women were going through in their own capacities. I am saying they are different, which is exactly why equality is not what we want. It isn't. Why would I want to be treated like you? If I go to the doctor, do I want a fucking pap smear? Equality means 1 equals 1. If there's an equal sign and one thing on one side of it is one thing and on the other side is something different, then it isn't equal. You would put an equal sign with a cross through it, a diagonal cross through it, because that means it is not equal. I don't want a breast exam when I go to the doctor. I don't need to pump for milk when I have a son. I have 2 babies. I never breastfed them. It isn't equality. Now, if you want to be treated fairly, that's one thing. But equality is a misleading term that we've been spearheading our movements with for a long time. You know what else? I don't want to be treated like white people. I want to be allowed to be a black man. I want to be able to be a black man and still buy land. I don't want equality. I don't even believe in integration. I am a Garveyite by way of Malcolm X. I haven't studied Marcus Garvey, but I did study Malcolm X. Malcolm X took the stand as saying, I don't necessarily believe in integration. He believed in segregation because it was not the fact that we wanted to be next to you. It was the fact that we just wanted to be left alone to our devices. So if we were to build a city, we would rather it not be bombed or sabotaged or raided and burnt down or flooded or whatever else they did or poisoned. We would rather be left alone, allow us to have our own free enterprise, raise our crops, build buildings, buy land, raise our children in peace. So if you have Tulsa, Oklahoma, we don't ask that white people move there. We ask that we get to live here alone and you leave us alone. Right? That's not equality. It's fair and humane. Right? So women are streaming about how come they don't get to do the things that men do? Or how come I can't fuck 100 people but you can? Whew. Why? Why do you want to do what men do? The reason why you are judged differently in the public eye is because you are something different than me. Again, if a motherfucking cat started barking, we would all look at the cat and say, what are you doing? Why is that cat barking? Or why is this dog meowing? The cat could go, well, I'm an animal too. Why I can't bark like him? Why can't I bark? Because you're a fucking cat and it goes against your biology. It has nothing to do with what you are. You're just barking because you want to bark. All right, cool. But guess what? You can bark if you want to because this is America, right? This is America. The Constitution states that we should all be able to do whatever we want. The pursuit of happiness is the most important line to me. You know, in that string of lines, the pursuit of happiness. So that means we should be able to do what we want. In my song, I said, I believe people should do what they want, long as they out my way. Pour your drink and roll up your blunt. Stay the fuck out my face. I don't smoke and drink. There was a point in my life when I was much younger where I used to judge the shit out of people. It took my baby mama to kind of teach me how not to do that. She gave me a different perspective. I never told her this because it happened through like osmosis. It wasn't an instant change. She didn't just say something one day and I was like, oh, I get it. No. Sometimes it onsets later on. My baby moms would come down on me about judging people about certain things. And I was like, man, shut the fuck up. Like, I got my opinions and my stances and my beliefs as a man. Fuck you. Right? But as I went on, that kind of planted a seed. And I started looking at things different. And I started meeting people that weren't necessarily losers just because they smoke every day. I got a homeboy, smoke every day, love weed. And I got to know him, and it's like, but this is way down the line, but just as an example, got to know him, and I'm like, oh, this nigga smoke weed every day. It's the opposite of what I do. I don't smoke at all, but he's still a good person. He's still productive, still raises his kids. See, but my perception of that type of person comes from me being in the hood all my life, watching niggas wake and bake, roll up over and over again, and they just walk around looking like zombies. They're not interested. They have no personality, no conversation, no ambitions, no goals, no job. Niggas hopping in the old-ass Caprice, riding around the hood looking for shit to get into, whether it be a bitch, more weed, robbing niggas, some stupid shit like that. See, but the problem wasn't the weed. The problem was the mentality of the person. So I had to change my stance on being judgmental, right? So I dropped that. I don't do that anymore. I think people should be able to do what they want, whatever makes you happy. I think if you like having sex all the time, do it. You know, male or female, do whatever you got to do. But guess what I learned was the reality of that, or all things that you get to choose freely. Here I am, almost 400 pounds. If anyone was to say, bro, you fat as hell, people have been telling me that all my life, right? I can rebuttal it. Nowadays, I just laugh and shit because it is a fact, and I know how to let that shit roll off my back. But when I was 13, when I was 15, when I was 17, it didn't roll off my back. That shit fucked with my head. And I would argue with people, and I would say things like, nigga, like, show the fuck what? Like, bitches like it, or whatever the fuck made me feel better in the moment. Like, bitches like it, or I get to, you know, I get to do whatever I want to do. Nigga, you worry about you or whatever. It's like just shoving that shit, sweeping up under the rug and saying whatever. Like, I could do whatever I want to do. Okay. But I had to understand that, yes, I can eat as much as I want to eat. I can afford all the food I want. I can eat as much as I want. I can wake up and eat lollipops all motherfucking day because that's my right as an American who can do whatever he wants as long as it's within the law and it doesn't hurt anyone else, right? Okay. But the reality of that is I have to carry that burden with me and understand that I am not free from judgment. I'm not skinny now, so I'm talking about me. This is what accountability look like. I walk around in this body every fucking day. And it's built character in me for sure. It's a lot of shit that a skinny motherfucker wouldn't understand that I carry with me, the things that have developed me to be the person that I am. You wouldn't understand if you were skinny all your life, right? But I'll tell you this. I am not free from judgment just because I get to do what I want to do. Guess what? Another thing that I've learned to accept as a grown-up, as a black man, is that white people are allowed to not like me. That's cool. I don't give a fuck about that. It's not my problem. I don't walk around trying to get no motherfucker to like me except my bitch or a bitch that I'm interested in. But one thing I had to accept as within the last 3 years was, bro, why the fuck am I sitting around screaming about racist white people? Why would I devote energy and time to something that is openly saying they don't fuck with me? That's like me going to a restaurant that says we only serve white people and me standing outside the door every day begging for them to let me in. No. Why not go build my own shit or go where I am loved and accepted? Ain't that what we do every day? Ain't that what we preach on the internet? I'm not forcing nothing. These are the stats that I see, especially on Facebook. I'm not forcing nothing. If you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. I'm reciprocating energy all 2023 and all that corny shit these women be posting. All right, cool. So why not apply that shit to all things? Even white folks. I don't give a fuck about white folks not liking me. I care about if they come and impose their will on me, or I care about the things like that, the things that cross the line. I'm only talking about a motherfucker liking me. I'm not talking about lynchings or slavery. No. I'm talking about literally asking white people all day, why you don't like us? What did we do to you? That's a weak-ass, feminine-ass question. Because as a man, as a nigga that considers himself a fucking warrior, I don't give a fuck why the enemy don't like me. At least that nigga made it clear that he don't like me, so I know where he stand and where I stand. So guess what that does? It prepares me for war. If a nigga need to be killed, he needs to be killed. If a white man say, if he walk around with a white hood on or a fucking Confederate flag tatted on his forearm, and he got a shotgun on the back of his truck, and he got a bumper sticker that say some shit like he don't like niggas, Jews, and queers or some shit like that. So that means if I see this motherfucker around this hood, then it's probably something up. See, I would rather that than a motherfucker like the nigga from Judas and the Black Messiah, who is a part of the group, look like me, but infiltrates the group and destroys us from within. To get back to my original point. Whew. We are not free from judgment just because we are free to do what we like. A woman can get married and fuck around as much as she wants to because it isn't illegal. It's immoral. That's not the same. Does that mean you're free from judgment just because you can do it? A motherfucker can sit in the park and shoot heroin in his veins all day. Is it illegal? Sure. But in certain states, it ain't. I believe it's Wyoming or some shit like that, that outlaw, they reverse the outlaw status of most of those scheduled drugs, and you can do that shit as much as you want to, and you can carry around a certain amount of it. So it seemed like laws are all about perspective, right? So we can't even judge shit by laws. Let's just take laws out of this shit for the sake of these examples I'm trying to make. A nigga can sit around and shoot heroin in his veins all day or get a glass dick and smoke crack all day. Does that mean you get to be free from judgment just because you can, goofy ass nigga? No. It means you're going to be judged regardless of the fact that you can do it. But we still, as a society, have things that we uphold as moral and immoral. It doesn't matter what you want to do. We are people, and we all have the ability to judge and view things through our optics the way that we choose to. So again, a bitch being in a relationship with a nigga that she chose to have a baby with, going to a concert and grinding all up against Usher, does not mean we don't get to say that this bitch is wildin' just because it isn't illegal or because she isn't married. Let me just offer another perspective. Maybe the bitch ain't married because she's not worth marrying because she would do some shit like that to begin with. All we seeing is a video that happened in Vegas 2 months ago. Maybe he saw that shit from the inside, looking, being a participator in their union. Maybe he's seen some shit that was like, I don't want to marry her. But guess what? He's still an idiot for having a baby with her. You know why I can say that? Because I'm the same nigga. Accountability. I'm not afraid to admit that I made a motherfucking mistake that I wish I could take back. I don't say that in against my children, but I say that against myself. You understand what I'm saying? If I could take that shit back, I would take it back. If I knew what I know now, then I would have never done no shit like that. He did it, but I can't necessarily judge him for that because I did it. So I understand how it can happen. Still doesn't mean that he didn't make a dumbass decision, because he did. But maybe that's why she not married. Everybody on the internet talking about something. She not married to him anyway. You can't tell her what to do. Where the fuck do y'all get off thinking that the only time a woman should listen to a man is if they married? Should a nigga not play basketball until he gets signed to the NBA? Or should he be practicing or going to college and playing for their teams? Which one? A nigga shouldn't pick up a ball and say, I'm not picking up no basketball until they give me a contract. You sound like a fucking idiot. Should a nigga go to a movie set and be like, give me the part? And they say, okay, read these lines for us. You be like, I'm not reading shit until I get a contract. Until I get a contract. I'm not reading lines until I get a contract. You sound like a fucking idiot. A man and a woman is supposed to show up as themselves and be who they would be in the relationship going forward from day one. Or day whatever. You know, that first date, nigga, send a representative. Cool. But soon after, nigga, when the veil started to fall and when the honesty starts to flow, you shouldn't do shit like hide 2 children that you got. You should be like, on day one, you should tell a bitch, I got 3 kids by 2 women. Shit, I've been in 15 relationships. I got 100, whatever the fuck needs to be discussed. Be honest. So I say, you talking about she ain't married, what the fuck do that got to do with anything? She didn't marry him, but she had a baby by the nigga, so you don't think she should honor that? See, that's why, I'm putting too much energy into arguing against dumbass hoes who running around raising kids by themselves, complaining and whining about child support that they can't get from a nigga, because y'all all made the same mistake that this bitch is making right now. And you cheering this shit on, but the reason that you don't get it is the same reason she don't. Because you're standing in the echo chamber being regurgitated your own feelings and thoughts and opinions about shit, and you're not being held accountable or you're not being told no about shit. So you're standing around doing the same dumbass shit that the last bitch did. We're literally watching this hoe, we're still literally watching this woman be egged on and encouraged to destroy her family. What the fuck happened to us? Dancing on Usher and being, I'm an independent bitch and I could do what I want and I'm free. I'm free. I could do anything. I ain't letting no nigga tell me what to do unless I got a ring. Why would a nigga marry into uncertainty? Why would a nigga do that? Like, oh yeah, she don't listen to shit I say now, but I'm gonna go down here to Zietman's and give me a ring and hopefully she listen to me then. What type of bitch ass niggas do you think we are? I don't understand that. I'm not speaking for Darius. He seems to be a pretty bitch ass nigga to me. Cool. I don't know nothing about that nigga, but he seemed like a weak ass nigga to me. But I'm talking about a man. A man is not about to sit here and let you tell him, I'm not doing shit you say until I got a ring? Huh? So if that's the case, let me show up as a man in a relationship and fuck hoes until I marry you. Let me show up in a relationship and beat your motherfucking ass and make promises and say, I'll stop as soon as we get married. What are y'all talking about? All these single mothers on the internet talking, yeah, girl, get it. That sound like the devil to me. A motherfucker telling you, egging you on, telling you, yeah, shoot that dope. Abandon your family, bruh. Yeah, you fuck these hoes. Abandon your family. It's plenty of niggas outside doing the same thing. I'm a man. I live amongst other men. I don't, I hang out with women, but what I'm saying is my average circle throughout my day, I talk to men, I run to men, my barber's a man. Shit, you know what I'm saying? I hang around niggas, most of my friends is men. 90% of my friends is men. I've run into all that type of shit, niggas saying, yeah, dog, fuck that. I'm not being faithful to no bitch. I heard niggas say all kind of things. I heard a grown man, not a grown man, I had another nigga look me in my face and say, fuck, I look like reading a book. I got 100 books behind me. Do you think I listen to that dumbass nigga? Y'all need to be careful about these bitches that y'all listening to. I'm talking to women. Be careful. The blind lead the blind. That shit is not good. Single mothers on the internet just encouraging a bitch with a man willing to take care of his son to leave him and be on and grind on Usher as much as you want to. Why would I take advice from a motherfucker that already destroyed themselves? I don't listen to dumbass niggas either. As a man, I have to be able to weed through that. Why would I let a nigga tell me, yeah, bro, I ain't being faithful to no woman? And guess what? I did listen to it. I was in 2 long-term relationships and I cheated like a motherfucker. All through it. And I regret that shit to this day. Listening to niggas like that say, yeah, dog, we men, we supposed to be able to fuck as much as we want. I don't feel that way anymore. You know why? How can I expect to destroy another motherfucker's feelings and then still hold mine up? We all out here amongst the blind, listening to them. Fuck that. You better do what's best for you. You got a baby with a nigga willing to work it out, willing to stay there and support. You can't shame this nigga for making less than Keke Palmer. The bitch is in Hollywood. Most niggas make less than Keke Palmer. Is y'all niggas, bro, we talking about earners that are in the top 10 percentile of the world. Everybody make less than her. We should shame what she got to go get with Denzel Washington or something? The bitch decided to date down. That was her choice. That means she don't got to respect him because she make more than him? She's a fucking actress. Most motherfuckers make less than her. You're not gonna find many niggas that make more than she do. What are y'all talking about? Do that mean, so Bill Gates got divorced. Who else got divorced? Oh, the nigga that owned Amazon, I can't think of his name right now. He got divorced too. Bill Gates and the nigga from Amazon, Jeff Bezos, got divorced in the last 5 years. I believe they both left half of their fortunes to their wife. When Jeff Bezos divorced his wife, she took half of his shit and then she became the richest woman in the world because of that. So, do you mean to tell me the only man that she can choose from is 3 other motherfuckers on the planet? Because there's not many more people rich than her. The bitch walked away with like $50 billion. So by your logic, you're telling me that motherfucker only can choose from 2 other billionaire men like the nigga that bought Twitter recently, right? The South African white man. I can't think of his name either. My mind is fucking going crazy right now. You telling me that because she's the richest bitch on earth, she can only date 2 other niggas on earth because they're the only ones richer than her, or she has to choose someone who's less rich than her, but she has to disrespect him because he got less money? Just think about what you're saying. Y'all want equality, but then be saying dumb shit like that. That nigga broke. He make less money than her. She ain't got to respect him. Why would I do what you say? You make less money than me. What is the logic? What are you talking about? a nigga deserves disrespect because he don't make as much money as Keke Palmer or any bitch. If he make less money than his woman, he deserves disrespect. So if you want equality, 9 times out of 10, the woman in a relationship makes less than the man. So should he be beating her ass because she makes less? Oh no, but she's a woman, she's supposed to make less. Now, equality starts to get blurry a little bit, right? You don't want equality. You want what's best for you. That's not equality. I've been with plenty of women that make less money than me. Should I be able to call them all kind of hoes to their face and beat their ass and cheat in their face and dumb, you know what I'm saying? Should I be allowed to do that because of that? A lot of men believe so. You go to the motherfucking, what's the shit called? The blue, I don't know if it's blue pill, whatever the shit is called. You know, the manosphere. A lot of them believe that, like, oh, well, I make more money than you. You know, I take care of you, so I should be able to have all the hoes that I want and all of that. No, I don't believe in that shit. And I've been with plenty of women that I still, okay, I ain't gonna talk about that. But I've been with plenty of women that make less money than me. Should I be allowed to just disrespect them? But equality though, right? But you should be allowed to disrespect your man so long as he makes less than you. You should be able to have a hot girl summer while you're in a relationship with this nigga because you make more money than him. But you don't understand it when a nigga say, oh, well, girl, I make $1 million a year. I should be able to fuck all the hoes that I want to. And then I just got done watching a bitch that looked like George Jefferson said that she deserves a billionaire. All right, cool. If that's what you think, cool. Statistically, you'll never get that, right? You'll never get it. Why would a nigga worth $1 billion choose a girl that looked like George Jefferson? Okay, cool. Now, they think that if she was to get that billionaire, there's several women on this podcast that was talking about this. They think that if they were to get the man that makes $1 billion, he still shouldn't be allowed to fuck around. Oh no, I'm not sharing. Okay, cool. If that's what you want, nigga gotta honor that. But you also think that because Keke Palmer makes more money than Darius, that she gets to grind on Usher because she a boss bitch. Dog, people are really dumb as hell. Keke Palmer could get to grind on Usher because she a boss bitch. But a nigga, she literally said billionaire. She wants a billionaire. She said billionaire. Oh, I want a billionaire. Okay. But he don't get to fuck around though. He got $1 billion and he got to come home to George Jefferson. That's tragic. That's crazy. And he don't get to fuck on nobody else. That's crazy, my nigga. That's crazy. A nigga work hard. Nigga do all this work to make $1 billion, and then he got to come home to only George Jefferson. That's what she think. That's nuts, bro. That is insane to me. And see, that's why I don't really like making videos like this, because it almost seems like it's pointless. Like, it's not pointless. I don't necessarily feel that way right now, but my point is, it's like, of course these people have these opinions because they're actually dumb. You're actually a stupid person. I guarantee you if the fucking shoe was on the other foot. See, these are things that people have been saying all month long since this original incident happened between Keke Palmer and Usher. All right. Then she goes on to further humiliate this man. I don't know what he did. I'm not saying that he's absolutely purified of any wrongdoing. I heard that he cheated on her. He's fucked up too. I don't think tit for tat is the answer for any of that, though. I don't think public humiliation is the answer for that. I don't think disrespecting him and disregarding his feelings in public is the answer for that. I don't think that's the answer. I've been done wrong. I've had women do bad things to me. Even in the relationships where I was cheating, there were plenty of things that the woman had done wrong too. That wasn't contingent, that even predated the cheating. I've been through a lot of things in relationships. Cool. But the response to that is not to go and publicly humiliate her for the sake of redeeming myself or getting some sort of fucking get back. That's not a good idea. I think you stoop lower and a motherfucker stooping lower and then you stooping lower just is is like representative of your character. I don't think that's a good idea. I've done it and I regret it. I don't like the fact that I did those things. Not publicly, but I'm saying stooping lower. I don't like that. I think that's a dumbass, immature, selfish thing to do. I'm not saying we should all take the high road all the time, but I am saying instead of stooping lower, just fucking leave. Just leave. You know, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and that's why I could talk about this shit so accurately. I ain't been through everything. I don't know everything. I could be wrong about some of the stuff I'm saying now. I want to make that clear in all of my videos. Don't ever think that I think my word is law, because I'm not beyond reproach. I understand that I could be wrong. I understand that I could be corrected. I also understand, and I will learn more and change my stance on a lot of the shit that I say in this whole series. But right now, I can only speak from where I stand today. Y'all niggas is retarded. Y'all niggas is retarded. I'm not ever gonna listen to a nigga who don't got shit tell me how to keep or maintain or get some shit that I got. So Keke Palmer having a baby willingly with a nigga, listening to a bunch of motherfuckers tell her, yeah, girl, fuck that nigga, is a bunch of, it's like you listening to the fucking rejects. You listen to all the failures tell you how to succeed. Why? Man, keep your relationships, especially if you got a motherfucker that is willing to work shit out, a motherfucker that is reasonable, a motherfucker that can level with you, a motherfucker that's good to you, a motherfucker that's willing to be there for you. Why is you walking away from that shit? And why, furthermore, why is you listening to a bunch of lonely, stupid motherfuckers tell you how to conduct yourself in that? Misery loves company, nigga. We learned that shit when we was 4 years old, 6 years old. Misery loves company. A motherfucker gonna pull you into the depths with them because they don't want to be by themselves, or they want to validate their actions, or they want to make sense of the dumb shit that they did. All of these hoes sitting on Instagram with 3 and 4 kids from men, different men, telling another bitch to fuck over they nigga. The same reason I don't listen to Derek Jackson, because he's a fucking clown. And I knew that before the cheating scandal. Listening to this cornball ass nigga tell me how to keep a woman when you look like you like niggas. Talk and act like you as a feminine ass, like you like men. I'm not listening to you, nigga. Only weak niggas fall for pimping. I don't fall for no fucking pimping, nigga. I'm not listening to you. I can recognize when a nigga's words are valuable. I listen to Nipsey Hussle say, keep your head down, don't worry about none of that shit. Stay the course, take care of your woman. I listen to Jay-Z. Nigga said, fuck that, nigga. I don't want to cheat on my bitch no more. I want my woman back. I almost lost the baddest bitch in the world. I listen to a nigga like that. Why the fuck am I sitting around listening to Derek Jackson? I want to meet the niggas that listen to him. I want to meet them. Why would I listen to that nigga? And then we was right all along. This nigga running around cheating on his bitch, trying to teach me how to keep mine. This is the same situation. Except Keke Palmer is the victim, and she's being fed a bunch of information, being told how to conduct herself, or being reassured that her actions are fine, and they tricking her out of her fucking spot. I'd never listen to a nigga in jail tell me how to, well, maybe I could, tell me how to stay free. It depends on the nigga. But I will tell you this, I'm not listening to a nigga in jail teach me how to commit crime. All you gotta do is, that's the joke. A nigga start a sentence or a plan like that. All you gotta do is, we all getting caught. That's what's going on, man. All we gotta do is head ass. I'll spend the last bit of this video talking about mans. I know the least about Darius because I don't know who that nigga is. I don't give a fuck. I didn't do no research before doing this. I know who Keke Palmer is, and clearly I know who Usher is. I think he's corny. I think he displayed a little bit of weakness, but I also don't think it was wrong for him to say what he said publicly because she did what she did publicly. She grinded on Usher knowing there was a camera there, did that shit in front of that entire audience, knowingly, and she got a nigga at home that she just had a baby for. I don't think that shit is okay. I think you publicly humiliated him when you went out as a representative of your nigga and then displayed yourself in that way, grinding on another nigga. I think that shit is incorrect. I think that is fucked up. Right? But I think he displayed a little bit of weakness in the way that he said the shit online. Because I wouldn't be that indirect. First of all, I'm hitting your fucking phone. Fuck Twitter. I'm not saying that he's wrong. I'm saying I wouldn't do that. It's a little weird, but how the fuck is y'all justifying, how are y'all saying that he shouldn't have been public with it when she was public with it? The nigga got humiliated in a viral moment. Just think about that. Put yourself in his shoes. Too much to ask for a bunch of motherfuckers that can't do that. But put yourself in his shoes. A video goes viral of his bitch dancing on a handsome R&B singer. Imagine how that felt. So y'all be on the internet talking about, oh, crystals and earth signs and air signs, and I'm an Aries and I'm a Capricorn, but I'm an empath. But then you can't possibly understand what it might feel like for this nigga. You know why? Because you don't give a fuck. You care about how it would feel like for you. The only shoes you can put yourself in this particular equation is Keke Palmer's because you a woman. You don't give a fuck about how the nigga felt. And that's the status quo for most things. When I run into women that truly give a fuck about how they man feel, it's amazing every time. You know why? Because it's so fucking rare. It's so rare. You really understand? That's amazing. Because you're like one out of 100. Imagine your nigga as a woman going out and having a viral moment. You just at home like doing some dumb shit, and then you open your phone, you got 1,000 retweets coming at you, and you're like, what the fuck going on Twitter? And you open Twitter, and your nigga like grinding on Tiana Taylor on stage. And everybody like, yeah, nigga, get that shit. Fuck your bitch, yeah. Shit, have fun, nigga, fuck her. And then you just sitting at home like, what did I do? Like, I'm just like making a grilled cheese and like taking care of the baby. And like my niggas on stage grinding on Tiana Taylor. And Tiana Taylor does that in her shows. She brings men and women up on stage. She grind on them and shit. And it goes viral sometimes. It used to. She's not performing anymore, I don't think. But that was a thing, right? If I was a man in that crowd, I would not do that if I had a woman at home that I gave any fucks about at all. Now, I'm not saying that's what Usher did because it was way more tame than that. But what I'm saying is that if your nigga was on public display and he allowed himself to be a spectacle, engaging with another woman in that way, you wouldn't like that shit either. And Tiana Taylor is bad than a motherfucker. And she know how to lap dance for some fucking reason. She's really good. She's sexy. She's entertaining. Janet Jackson used to do the same thing. You know, I would never do that shit to my woman unless she told me to. If I was at the show with her and she was like, no, go ahead, nigga. I'd be like, okay, but this don't mean you get to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cool with it. You cool with it. But still, even still, I wouldn't do it because I don't want to do that. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be no fucking white knight. But I'm saying I wouldn't want to do that shit because I wouldn't want to do that to her. I wouldn't want to do that to me. I wouldn't want to be seen as a nigga that would allow another bitch to even have me in that capacity because all I care about is my bitch. I don't care about nobody else. Fuck you. Get another nigga on stage. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And that's genuinely how I feel. Now, if I'm single, Teyana Taylor pulled me out the crowd, fuck it. Yes, I would do it. But if I'm with my woman, I literally just learned what it feels like to have a woman that you don't give a fuck about no other bitch for. I just don't give a fuck. I don't care. I've only just learned that recently. I've never felt that feeling before, just to be totally honest with you. Because before it was like open season. I was just like, whatever. If I see a bitch that I like, I want her and I don't feel bad. But as of now, you know, I'm getting to the age where I want to be married and I'm being able to date women that I actually fucking like. You know, just being honest. I don't be wanting no other bitches. I can see women and be attracted to them. That's a different, you know, I can go to the strip club and see a dancer that I'm attracted to. Cool. Would I let this bitch take me home after the club? Absolutely fucking not. No. Because you're not my bitch. I don't want you. You know? See, but the problem is we be with people that we don't fucking like. We be choosing partners that we don't even like. We be choosing partners that we despise, quite frankly. You know, I don't know what that nigga Darius did to Kiki. I do know he's a cornball. I'm not saying that he's a, you know, that's just information I don't have. I heard he cheated. If he cheated, I understand. But don't wait to go to Vegas to start getting on your bullshit when you could have left or you could have, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If he cheated on you and you was like, okay, well, I mean, what do you want? Some like, I'm going to show him. What is that? What is we, 14? No, leave that nigga if you don't want to be with him. If you don't respect him no more, what the fuck is you stand for? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe they discussed it and she did try to leave and he was like, no, I'm sorry, let's work it out. But it's still fucked up if she went forward and decided to still be on some fuck shit in like out of spite. I don't think that's a good idea. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean that he's right. Doesn't mean that he's absolved of all wrongdoings. It just means that you're both wrong. And that's okay. That's possible. Two things could be true, right? You could be wrong and he could be wrong. And in this fucking case, if he did cheat, you're both fucking wrong. He's an idiot, she's an idiot, and Usher is kind of an idiot too, but it's cool. He's the least of the idiots out of this equation. I'm done. This is Streams episode 22. Yeah, I'm done, nigga. Fuck out of here.